Today, we are opening up the playbook on a topic that, honestly, affects a huge number of adults over 60, vitamin B12 deficiency. We're going to get into why the usual advice often falls flat, and more importantly, what a winning game plan actually looks like. So, let's dive right in.
So let me ask you, does this sound familiar? You're doing everything right. You're taking your B12 supplement every single day, but you're still stuck with that frustrating fatigue, that annoying brain fog, maybe even that weird tingling or numbness in your hands and feet. If that's you, you're asking the right questions.
And you know what's so wild is that you might have even had a blood test come back saying your B12 levels are normal. But you know the symptoms are still there. Maybe they're even getting a little worse. If that's your experience, I really want you to hear this. You are not alone. This is an incredibly common story.
And here's the point we really need to drive home. This isn't about you not trying hard enough. The problem for so many people over 60 is that the standard approach to B12 is just, well, it's the wrong game plan. The issue isn't the lack of the vitamin, it's a breakdown in how your body can actually get it and use it.
Okay, so let's get into part 1 of our playbook, recognizing the warning signs. You've got to know what you're up against, right? This is all about scouting the opponent, which in this case is the wide range of symptoms that can signal a B12's deficiency.
Just look at how different all these symptoms are. You see, vitamin B12 is absolutely essential for the protective coating around your nerves. It's called myelin. When you're low on B12, those nerve signals just don't travel right. That can cause that classic tingling or numbness, but it can also mess with your balance or show up as mental stuff, like slower thinking, memory trouble, and that awful brain fog.
And it doesn't stop with the nerves. B12 is a huge player in making red blood cells. So, if you're deficient, you can get a specific kind of anemia, and that causes that deep, bone-tired fatigue that just won't go away. And then there are some of the more unusual signs, like a tongue that looks weirdly smooth and glossy, or even tinnitus, that ringing in your ears. And this quote, this really gets to the heart of the problem, doesn't it? Feeling tired, being a bit forgetful, maybe feeling a little unsteady on your feet. It's so easy to just wave all that off as a normal part of getting older. But they shouldn't be. These are really important red flags that deserve a much closer look.
All right, now for part 2. Why does the standard game plan fail so many people? This is where we get into the hidden reasons B12 absorption changes so dramatically as we get older.
So here is the first major hurdle. To get B12 from your food or a regular pill, you need strong stomach acid. The acid's job is to literally rip the B12 molecule away from the protein it's attached to. But as this chart clearly shows, after age 60, stomach acid production can really take a nosedive. Without enough acid, that B12 can just pass right on through your system totally unused.
And it's really a 1-2 punch, because on top of declining stomach acid, your stomach lining also makes less of this super important protein called intrinsic factor. The best way to think of it is like a key. Intrinsic factor has to grab onto the B12 to unlock the door to your bloodstream. And as we age, we just make fewer of these keys. So even if the B12 gets free, without a key, it's locked out.
This all leads to a really common and big misunderstanding. Your standard blood test, it measures the B12 that's just kind of floating around in your bloodstream. What it doesn't tell you is how much of that B12 is actually getting inside your cells, where your brain and nerves are starving for it. So you can have a normal lab result while being functionally deficient. The test measures B12 in transit, not B12 at its final destination.
And finally, there's the type of B12 itself. Most of the cheap, common supplements use something called cyanocobalamin. It's synthetic, and your body has to work to convert it into a form it can actually use. That whole conversion process can be pretty slow and just not very efficient, especially as we get older. The much better option is methylcobalamin. It's already in the active form, ready to go to work immediately, which lets you bypass that whole conversion problem.
Okay, so if the old playbook is broken, what actually works? Let's move on to part 3, the correct protocol. This is a clear, 5-step plan designed to get around all those absorption roadblocks we just talked about.
So here it is, the new game plan broken down into 5 simple strategic steps. See, it's not just about taking B12, it's about taking it the right way. Let's break each of these down. Now, these first 2 steps are, without a doubt, the most important. They solve the biggest problems we've discussed. First, by choosing methylcobalamin, the active form, you get rid of that conversion issue. Second, by using a sublingual form, that's just a fancy way of saying a tablet that dissolves under your tongue, you completely bypass the stomach. The B12 gets absorbed directly into the blood vessels there and goes straight into your bloodstream. No stomach acid or intrinsic factor needed. It's a total game changer.
Next up is the dose. To really push past any remaining absorption issues and make sure enough B12 gets to your cells, a higher dose is usually what's needed. For adults over 60, a really common and effective daily dose is somewhere in the range of 1,000 to 2,000 micrograms.
And finally, consistency and timing. This is so key. Vitamin B12 is not like caffeine. It's not a stimulant. It's a repair nutrient. Your nerves need a slow, steady, daily supply of it to rebuild. If you skip days, you're interrupting that whole repair process. And taking it in the morning is usually best, just to help support your energy during the day.
Okay, let's bring it all together in our final section, Part 4, Building Your Winning Strategy. This is all about making sure the key lessons from our playbook really stick with you. So let's recap the most important takeaways. First, listen to your body. Pay attention to your symptoms. They often tell you more than a lab number. Second, remember that those standard pills you swallow are often just not going to cut it after 60. Your winning strategy boils down to 3 things: the right form, that's methylcobalamin, the right delivery, that's sublingual, under the tongue, and absolute consistency.
And this is the kind of real-world difference this can all make. This quote just captures it perfectly, doesn't it? It shows that shift from just taking a supplement to actually using it strategically. It's not just about having more energy. It's about getting your confidence back, your clarity back, your stability back. So, we'll leave you with this one last question to think about. Take a hard look at your own B12 routine. Is it just something you do to check a box off a list every day? Or is it a real strategic plan that's designed to actively repair and build your health for the long run? The difference isn't about luck, it's about having the right playbook.
Thank you for being here. Your best years are just beginning. Subscribe and share the 60 to 100 YouTube channel with friends who need this message. Let's age brilliantly together. Watch our next episodes. Just click on the thumbnails. Thank you.